There are different tones, and go figure with the variant. So if you're into this, I just opened up Pandora's box for you, because now you need to go and chase down this variant looking. This is the most common type that I've seen. Hi everyone. So this is going to be a quick video. Let me fix my camera. This is going to be a quick video because I just came back from CAS, Collector Archive Services. And as you know, if you follow us and you see my videos, you know that I love grading stuff. I absolutely love to preserve stuff the way it's supposed to be. And we are also here at the store a submission center. You can come in and drop your stuff, and then we'll let you know once they're ready. And then you come back to the store and pick them up. As easy as that. You don't have to ship, you don't have to put things on the mail, especially if they're like rare stuff or stuff that you care for. So I thought of doing a quick video because I just went to CIS to check out stuff, to pick up stuff, I'm sorry, that we just got, and I just want to show you. So let's just start with this. This was a submission from a customer. Man, the memories that I have with this guy. So it's basically Crimson Guards, Crimson Guards Commanders, Thomas and Semat. So I was in La Isla de Margarita, Margarita Island in Venezuela. I can't remember how old I was, but I remember going to a store called Ratan and telling my parents, like, I want the twins. I used to love these characters on the series, and the way, you know, the doubles car, the concept is so cool, and the way that they talk, that they, you know, one can feel the other one. It's now this is a very sought after, hard to find piece like that, like carded like that, and the bowl is pristine and everything. So now it's a museum display piece. You go figure. So this is a submission from a customer. We got this Tila back. This is a car back that was used by Super 7 to announce the line at New York Toy Fair, if I recall correctly. It was at the 2017 Toy Fair, and that's where they announced that they had the He-Man, the Motu line. So this was the board that was on the Super 7 display with the prototype in front of it, and we just got it archived. This is one of a kind item. You have to protect it. Like, you know, you have to protect it. So another pretty cool submission that we got here. Toy Biz. Who doesn't like Toy Biz? Remember the good old days of Toy Biz. However, this one, it's a little bit different because it's obviously a Fantastic Four Invisible Woman, but if you look at the label, it says Human Torch. So it's a pretty neat factory error. Obviously graded factory error Human Torch banner on Invisible Woman, Fantastic Four. This is the type of things that obviously it's not like they were impossible to find, but if you happen to notice that little error on the card, it's a fun little thing to have that I think is worth, you know, grading. This was a submission that another very good client of ours that comes here almost weekly. He became a good friend of the house. He sent, and this was signed by whom? Let's see if it says. Signed by Glenn Randall. So this is a vintage collection Boba Fett that he got signed by Glenn Randall, and it's now properly preserved. If I'm not mistaken, he even submitted the JSA certification cards with it. So obviously he got it back, it's in the paperwork. And he also submitted, which I thought it was super cool. I love this retro line of Marvel, little 3/4 Marvel figures. But he got this one signed by none other than Lou Ferrigno. You know, the guy that used to be the first ever Hulk that we got when he transformed. You know, the big Lou Ferrigno guy. So he got this green monster that we all love and care, signed by Lou Ferrigno. And so here, well, we got, how much did you get? 75. We got an Anakin Skywalker graded. Lovely figure. This is the Anakin that I remember, not Christian Hayden. and I'm referring to the Endor village, the forest moon of Endor village with the little Ewok celebration at the end. This is the ghost that I remember. So I never had this figure as a kid. I had it as an adult. But it's fun. It's fun to see real Anakin. To see focus, focus, focus. There you go. Lovely. Has now properly preserved. So obviously this was one of the very end of the line when they issued this type of characters. And so here's a fun set of figures that I'm going to show, which are called PVC because of the plastic that is used to make. And here's a fun story. So back in the 90s, during the dark ages, when there was nothing Star Wars related, I was living abroad. I was in Venezuela back then. And I remember that my parents announced like, oh, we're gonna spend Christmas in Orlando and we're gonna go to the theme parks. And of course, if you know about formerly known as MGM Studios, now Hollywood Studios, there's the famous Star Wars ride, and right out of the Star Wars ride, now there's multiple, there's just a Star Wars section now, Star Wars Land actually, but back then there was this amazing Star Tours store at the end of the ride that it was the only place in the world during those dark days, way after Return of the Jedi, before the prequels, where you can find Star Wars stuff. As a Star Wars collector, that was, you know, some sort of relief. Finally, Star Wars stuff, a store that is only dedicated to Star Wars. As a matter of fact, the experience that I want to recreate here at the store, it's heavily influenced by that, because I remember seeing coming out of the ride and seeing the Darth Vader suit inside a cage, and then they had a stormtrooper, and the whole store was decorated. I have things flying because of that, like, you know, like the Cannon and the Imperial, and all those flying X-Wings are basically influenced by that. So I spent the entire summer saving, all my way through the winter, saving money because I wanted to buy 3 3/4 vintage Kenner action figures, but of course it was the 90s, so there was absolutely nothing when I got there, and the only things that they had were this weird looking PVC figures that I remember they were at the register in buckets. These were never carted or packaged in any way. They're made of like a rubber type of materials called PVC, and you know, some of these are molded out of the Kenner vintage figures because of, you can clearly see that they use a 3 3/4 Stormtrooper. I may have one. Let me go and grab one real quick. Stay there. We have a theater or something. Here we go, back. So just grab a beater, Kenner 1978 or 70. Focus, focus, focus. There you go. So see, the sculpting is somewhat similar. They clearly use one of these things and reverse engineer the way that they look, but they were this is the only thing that they had at the store back then. And I was so frustrated. I had all this money in my pocket just waiting for me to spend it on Star Wars stuff, and the only thing 3 3/4 that they had at the moment was this. So I ended up buying a bunch of them. Eventually I made peace with that failed attempt to get things, and now they have a special place in my heart. So I was so glad when I received this entire lot of really cool PVC Star Tours exclusive figures. And take a look at Yoda. Let's wait for the focus to play in. Also, Star Tours exclusive figure. They were only released there. Wicket from the animated Ewoks cartoon. Focus, 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 focus. Wicket. It's kind of hard to find in some degree. There's this lovely C-3PO, and I have. So there's a fun story, but I don't have that handy, because there's a company in Spain called Comic Spain who actually made these figures. And they have the same molds and everything, and there's a huge debate of who made them first. There's a lovely video, I can't remember the account or who made it, but I remember seeing it a while ago, of someone in Spain who did the due diligence and figured it out and went through archives and visited old shops and old factories, and apparently Spain did it first. So there's a lot of debate on that sense. I know that there's a myriad of experts online that can properly guide you better on these figures. But apparently Spain was the first to hit the shot. This type of PVC figurines are not articulated. They're extremely popular in Spain, not just Star Wars, but anything. They have a gazillion tons of these type of PVC figures of a myriad of brands in Spain, and they're very popular there. So look at the tiny little R2 from Star Tours. I mean, these guys are, you know, 1990. They're vintage. They're vintage at this point. Here's a lovely Vader. Man, it brings me memories. Also, I think, especially if you look at the way the helmet is built and everything, I think they also did it based on a Kenner figure. The cape is majestic. Now, you get to appreciate this more. I don't know, I like it. It's a fun memory. And so from that same token, Chewbacca. And Chewbacca had variants. I recently discovered this because I found one of these guys in Mexico, so I didn't know what it was, but it turns out that there's a variety of colors and variants, and there are different tones, and go figure with the variants. So if you're into this, I just opened up Pandora's box for you, because now you need to go and chase down this variant looking. This is the most common type that I've seen, and now you need to go and find these variant looking different skin tones in this type, in this case fur case. So the last item happens to be from that Comic Spain company that I told you that made PVC figures. And they delve heavily into the Ewoks. There's a variety of Ewoks that were made there. There's a similar tribute, but he's all yellow instead of the golden tribute that we got here in the US. And so he made this character from the Ewok series as well. They're not easy to come by. I mean, you have to go to Spain and go to a show, which doesn't happen that often, as often if we have shows in here, and then for you to hunt these guys down. So it's a lovely piece that is now properly preserved from Star Wars memorabilia. So just want to share my recent graded haul, and thank you. Remember, like, subscribe, share this with someone, help us grow, help us get found. Thank you so much for your support and for your likes and your comments, and let us know in the comments what is that you want to see. What do you want me to film here? I'm down for it. I would love to. Please request. So put down in the comments what is it you want to see, and once again, thank you for the support. See you on the next one.